Okay, so back with number 3. We're looking at a certain outlet chain selling appliances has found that for one brand of stereo system, the monthly demand is $240 when the price is $900. However, when the price is $850, the monthly demand is $315. And we are asked to come up with a demand function for this, so it looks like we are given 2 points, so we are going to need to use point slope form for this. So our first point is going to be 240 and 900. And our second point is kind of tricky. We got to be careful because money is going to be the y value, so we need to put our 315 first and our 850 second. That was worded backwards in the problem. Tricky. So I do know that this is going to be, I'm going to need to do the slope and that sort of thing. So I'm going to label these x1, y1, x2, y2. And we're going to be looking at the slope formula to begin with. So we will have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we will be getting, it looks like 850 minus 900 over 315 minus 240. And so let's see, I've got 850 minus 900 and then 315 minus 240, which gives me a slope of negative 2/3. And so I can go ahead now that I know that I'm doing the point slope formula of things and get my y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 going. And I can use the values that I already have up there. So my y minus y1 is 900 equals my slope, which is negative 2/3, times x minus x1, which is 240. I'm going to go ahead and give that to Wolfram, everyone, and get an alternate form that I like better. So I will have y minus 900 is equal to negative 2/3, and I'm putting that in parentheses just to sort of keep that fraction stuck together, times x minus 240. And I end up with the equation, looking for the alternate form here, keeps moving around on me right there. I'm going to put my x term first, and so I will have y equals negative 2/3 x plus 1060. So that's going to be my equation for the monthly demand for these. Is that stereos? Yep, stereos. And I just realized they did ask us to use P and Q instead of Y and X. Frankly, I don't care. So I'm not even gonna worry about changing it. Price would be our Y value and quantity would be our X value if we were worried about that sort of thing. So we do have the equation for that. And now so that's part A. And remember, either one of these could be used for part A. We do prefer the second one because it gives us more information. So part B, would you rather sell 240 stereos at $900 each or 315 at $850 each, and how come? So let's do a quick little bit of math here and say, okay, if we sell them for 900 and we're able to sell 315 of them at that price, no, 240 of them at that price, or we drop the price to 850 and we were able to sell 315 of them. Which one of those would be better for us from a revenue standpoint? And I know we don't necessarily care about revenue, but for the purpose of this conversation, I'm just sort of trying to develop the idea that the higher price is not always the better option. In some instances, the lower price is the better option just because you will be able to sell more of the product. And so we end up with 216,000 with that option of the $240 and at 315 stereos at a price of $850, we end up with 267,750. So for part B, Would I rather sell 240 at 900? Would I sell 240 at 900 or 315 at 850? The answer is very clear that I would sell 315 at the reduced price of 850 because I would make more money. So sell 315 of them at a price of 850 each. Okay, and again, this is not taking into consideration cost, but I wanted to let you know that in this instance, we can just look at it and sort of use these numbers as a springing off point for our conversation that will come later about how reducing cost, reducing your selling price can often sometimes increase your eventual profit simply because people are more interested in purchasing the product. And then part C literally is the $1,000,000 question. Should we charge more and sell fewer items or charge less and sell more? And that answer is very simply, it depends. There are a lot of factors that go into that, everyone, and that's a good thing for us to start thinking about now as we move into these subsequent sections of this course. That's a question we will dive into more deeply later on. But right now would be a great time to be thinking about, gee, how do I set my price so that I make the most money possible? And your price will, at a higher price, less people will buy your product. At a lower price, more people will buy your product. And as I mentioned, we will explore that more later on.